So please welcome Manchester medical student Zoe Brunswick.
Thanks, Ian. So last week, The Guardian reported that the average cost of student housing was £147 a week. That's 85% of the maximum available student loan, and many students get less than half of this. Alongside bills, travel, food, and a social life, student loans are just not enough. And this is only set to get worse. From 2017, bursaries will no longer be available for students, meaning that debts will increase even further. Tuition fees will also rise again with the introduction of the Teaching and Excellence Framework. Already, some so-called high-performing universities are pushing fees up to £9,250 for next year. This will further compound the rich-poor divide in education. Cuts to funding also mean that the NHS is now £2.2 billion in deficit. As a medical student, I spend every day in a busy NHS hospital, and I see firsthand the effect of these brutal cuts. Every rota has multiple gaps. There aren't enough beds, and ever more are being closed. There aren't enough wards, and every more are being closed. And staff are becoming more and more demoralised as pay and conditions are attacked, leaving us working longer hours for lower pay and with increasingly fewer resources. As well as funding cuts, privatisation is also a massive issue in both healthcare and education. Just one recent example is the STPs, or the Sustainability and Transformation Plans, which I don't have time to go into, but they're blatant plans to downgrade and privatise hospitals, leading to fewer and poorer services. However, these relentless attacks have not gone unopposed. At this year's NUS conference, a motion to organise a mass demonstration for free education and against privatisation was passed almost unanimously. The huge support for this demo, which will take place next weekend, shows that students are angry and willing to fight back against cuts and privatisation. Cuts to the NHS have also resulted in anger from staff and patients alike. One example of this is the junior doctors dispute, which was transformed from a dispute over pay to a fight for more NHS funding and an end to privatisation. The public and other NHS workers showed massive support for junior doctors, but this mood for solidarity and struggle was not reflected at the top of trade unions. It was this blatant and unacceptable lack of solidarity that contributed to the loss of momentum by the junior doctors. The mood to fight is also present amongst community groups. NHS campaigns from across the country have recently linked up to call a mass national demonstration in defence of the NHS, which will take place on the 4th of March next year. We must now build for this demo within our workplaces, within our unions, within our community campaign groups, and make it as huge as possible. However, whilst mass demonstrations are important, they are only the beginning. As socialists, we know that it is organised, united resistance that can win. This is why we must fight for a programme of united action after these demonstrations, bringing together all those affected by brutal Tory austerity. We must continue to call for further demonstrations and push for strike action to fight for free education, free healthcare, and an end to privatisation and marketisation in our universities and our hospitals. Thank you, comrades.